out of the black, into the blue. I looked to the lights and waited for them to glow. They mockingly flickered at me, once or twice. A blackout. A blinding flash. And a sapphire flame. I was out of the black and into the blue. My frozen indigo blood melted into streams of maroon. The water that used to flow in cobalt ran clear. And my skeleton of ice turned back into bone. Out of the black, into the blue. And out of the blue, I blossomed into roses. The frosted dewdrops over my field of carnations trickled down, and the waters danced in a glittering stream. My shadow peeled away and fell to the ground. I watched it ricochet and burst into flames. It turned to ash and melted into the soil. A child of fragmented stars rose from the heat of the earth and penned the page of my next chapter, a journal with pages stained pink and delicately forged with pressed rose petals.
You make no sound as fools gather round like shadow palm. I see one sound as fools gather round and please you aloud. And I know, believe no one has about your secret past. Too much restraint, and I know, believe that no one thought you had a lonely past. The pain is strange so bad.
Big bite. You know, I will always have a thing of buttermilk in my fridge because allegedly it never goes bad. And if on a whim I'm craving pancakes, can't live without it. Another thing that like kind of makes all the difference is like frying them in butter, like actually frying them so that there's like a teeny tiny bit of like crisp on the bottom. It like, that's how you get that diner flavor, I feel like. Well, welcome to spring, kind of. It's like, we're in the transitional period between winter and spring right now. So weather is like crazy back and forth. What are you gonna do? I don't know. But it feels so good to be kind of crawling out of winter, truly. For whatever reason, winter this year just hit me like a truck. And maybe it's just because I was coming off of like, you know, the high, the endorphin rush of like traveling and seeing family and just living like a super fast-paced life, and then coming back to just desolate, snow, dark New York. It's a bit polarizing, but I don't know, now that spring is kind of around the corner, I feel a lot less dark. But you know, I feel like these transitional periods between seasons often kind of reflect in me a lot of confusion and a lot of like itching to turn a new leaf, but I don't know how to express that. It's just, well, I guess that's it. I just don't know how to express it. I think I've been having a lot of foreign feelings recently, and it's just hard to put them into words because I haven't felt them before and I haven't had the chance to figure them out. So it's exciting in some ways, you know, it can feel like a rebirth, but it's scary in other ways because everything I've felt up until this point has just been like a different flavor of a familiar thing. So I have no idea where a foreign thought is gonna lead me. I don't know what lives between the lines. I sure as hell don't know how to have a conversation about them, so. So, whatever. As of now, the thoughts are just a frequency, and the only way I can try to make sense of them is to just lay everything out as I see it and as I hear it in my mind, and I don't know, hopefully things will just start to make sense.
A hypnotic attraction, born of sober confusion, and a cold blazing stare from a girl standing tall. She flows with the water in shades of golden yellow, the peaches and mangoes, violet hearts on a string. The look of a lily with glitter in her eyes, and the soft touch of ivy that lays riverside. But her back-facing eyesight seeks with silver bullets, and a rose-colored laser sat right between my eyes. Her knife cuts in silence, a strike to the throat. My indigo bloodstream comes fast crashing down. Her amethyst necklace lit up with a flame. Her heartstrings went grayscale, and I turned her to ash. Blink twice. Be nice. It's all in my head. Breathe deep. Just sleep. I see you again. Goosebumps and still hairs in the white hot sun. Silence casts a wind chill along my tender spine. Chosen rays of sunlight peek in through the clouds and give edging moments of warmth to my soft blooming lotus. I rewrite the scripture in cells of my body. You wanted to paint me in bright shades of blue. A full moon eclipse, and I captured its water in a jar of my tears, steeped with dream-laden flowers. As moonlight starts to melt over the frost-covered clouds, you said, I know a place to bury our thoughts in the sand. Our figures stand shallow in the black waiting water, and we light up its body as midnight meets maroon. Shining so bright, we blind the stars, the glow of our pink-purple cloud. On that midnight, lifetimes ago, we became the sun and the moon. Okay. Hello. So I'm in my school's art studio right now. It's a really nice, like, quiet resource, honestly, to just, like, create. I've always found the process of painting to just be, like, really therapeutic and introspective. So today I'm just gonna work on this piece and let out whatever comes to my head. Have a little Bob Ross moment. So come hang while I paint. So I am on spring break presently. So I basically have like the whole art department to myself right now. And I don't know, I typically like to travel during spring break, but I don't know, something about it this year, I really wanted to stay in New York. I think after spending the fall in Japan, I realized how much I love this city. I really loved living in Tokyo, but I think, you know, it just helped solidify that New York is, I think, always going to be my home base. And I don't know, I kind of just really felt like it was the right move to stay here and let myself kind of continue a flow in the city. It's nice to kind of have some quiet, I guess like isolated time. Since I'm not in classes and I don't have anything too extraneous going on, I think I have a lot more time to breathe. I'm choosing to spend that on figuring out my intentions, figuring out, you know, where I am now, where I want to be, and I guess how to get myself there. For me, a change in season always really feels like a way to recenter and figure everything out. So right now, with the onset of spring, I'm really feeling like turning a new leaf and just, I don't know. For the last few years, I've really done my best work to find peace in the fact that I'm, for the most part, alone. And I think that I've gotten to a point where I'm able to harness that and use it as, you know, an ability of mine to be introspective and to be intuitive and intentional within myself. I've really come to appreciate that sort of element of myself, and in a lot of ways it sounds stupid, but in a lot of ways see it as like a superpower. But at the same time, right now, I think that something I would really love to explore is this idea of found family and community, and realizing that I have a say in that element of life, you know. For a very long time, honestly, up until like the last few months, I was alone like 95% of the time here. Okay, let me backtrack. When I moved to New York in 2021, for school, I did the whole number. I lived on campus my first year. I had my friends at school, whatever. And then after that summer, after my freshman year, I came back to New York to live alone in my own apartment. And, you know, that's kind of isolating in and of itself because all of my friends were back on campus still. But on top of that, I was very sick and I had to drop out of school for that semester. I moved home. The only people I saw were my parents and my like eating disorder specialists. So like 6 months later, when I came back to New York, I had literally nobody, like no one at all. Everyone else had just moved on with their lives. It was hard for a solid like year and a half after that. I had no friends at all. And then I kind of touched on this in my last video. I had sort of just like a very random snap where I decided, you know, it's time to like peek out of my shell a bit. I went blonde. The rest is history, but it was a thing that clicked in my head where it was like, I completely forgot that this is a necessary element of life and being a human. It's like, yeah, the surface level idea of socializing is very necessary, but also the feeling of being appreciated and wanted and loved by, you know, a found family. That's something I had really never understood before. So I had this inclination to build, you know, relationships and have friends and be around people, which I had never really done before. But then I moved to Japan and then kind of just had to put that all on pause. So the point I'm getting at is now that I've been back in New York and I've started, you know, this process back up of like fostering a sort of community for myself,
I don't really have any like urging desire to leave that again at the moment. And another thing, I guess, going back to the value of having introspective time, on this break, and I guess over the past couple months, I've really been focused on figuring out my passions, what they are, where they come from, and what I want to do with them. I got my start in making content about food and baking and recipes and yada, 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 while I was in that sort of aforementioned process of healing from an eating disorder, right? And at the time, it really felt like a beautiful thing to me to be able to make art out of food and to make peace with a sort of illness in my head. And I believed that. It was true to me for a long time. But when that sort of shape-shifted into a job of sorts, it returned to this sort of toxic, controlling entity in my life, if that makes sense. And it's hard to talk about because that is what virtually everybody on this platform knows me for. It's not something I'm ashamed of, but it's something I've realized I don't really think is healthy to continue in pursuit of. Not only because of that sort of control or, loss of passion, but also because it's not really what I ever wanted to do. I've always been a creative. I think it's my purpose, if you will. And as it started, I was just like baking and having fun making beautiful food and whatever. And that was a creative outlet. But, obviously it turned into something not creative at all. It turned into something very formulaic and very, I guess, manufactured. It turned into a job. I'll just say that. And not to break the fourth wall, but what I've started in this project on YouTube really feels like a strong return to a creative outlet. I'm a student of visual arts with a concentration in film, if that wasn't clear. And this, what I'm doing here, is one of those things I have a very genuine passion for. When I pursue it, I feel fulfilled. And I've realized that spending my energy on these projects, being diligent and artful and intentional, has felt so much more right than being a machine of sorts. It wasn't unfulfilling per se, but it was never gonna make an impact. I've really come to realize that I'm someone who has a lot to say and a lot to show. And I think it's a disservice to that creative impulse to be exerting all of my energy into something that I have nothing to contribute to. The way I feel right now, I would much rather be making an impact on an audience of 200 people right now than getting my 15 minutes and a couple dollars along the way by doing something a little meaningless, And I also want to say that this is not at all pointed. I have nothing but respect for all of my friends who are creators in that space and do, in fact, have a lot of perspective to bring and things to say. I think that there is space for everyone to create and everyone to find their passion. And I have just come to realize that that is not mine. And so, circling back to the point that I am trying to make here, I have come to terms with the fact that that particular passion of mine was motivated by a desire for control. Whereas the passion I am pursuing as of now is something motivated by a genuine desire to create. So. You know, something else that's been on my mind recently is getting back in touch with a sense of spirituality. When I was a kid, my dad and I would sit outside, you know, under the stars, just us, and we would just detach from the noise of the rest of the world. I remember laying down under the palm trees and just listening to them move with the wind. And there was so much going on in my head. As a kid, I feel like that was the only time I ever felt at peace, you know? I could just feel my soul and his soul and the soul of the trees in the wind. And I lost that for a very long time. I sort of drifted from prioritizing an inner sense of self, and I guess without knowing it, became consumed by an outer sense of self, an ego of sorts. And since I've realized I've been living detached from my spirit in a way, I feel like I've been in this sort of limbo where everything I do just has less meaning, you know? So I've taken it upon myself to get back into casual meditation. Yoga is a great way to kind of connect physically to your body. And I guess just being more intentional. And it's really helped me feel, again, this sense of fulfillment, because yes, I still have a sense of ego, but I'm able to place that ego in the context of everything else in the world. I feel like there's so much more purpose that way, and it provides a sort of comfort, in my head at least, that, you know, everything is going to the beat. Oh my God. Okay, that was the most Birkenstocks hairy armpit thing I've ever said in my life. Christ, anyway. All right, I think my work here is done. I feel very light after that, actually. That's good. Well, this is a vision I had recently. Under the moonlight, when midnight met maroon. Thank you for painting with me today. This was very therapeutic. I might do this again. That was very fun. You might be looking at the next Bob Ross. I'm gonna have to wear a back brace after this. I was hunching over like a fucking protractor the entire time.
Hi.
Hey, Diva.
Hi, Diva.
Oh, okay. I thought it was gonna be like too early.
Let's get like a bunch of different angles. Oh, Jeremy's also filming.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
You're official.
Yeah.
They're little like raspberry assholes.
Yep. That's exactly what we said. They are. Nice. It's in this.
Why did you get this sent to you after
Yeah.
Apartment Cafe?
It's for an ad. Wait, where'd she go? Oh, here, I'll put a splash of this in it.
Give me some latte art.
No, I don't do that.
But I'm just like, I want to try. Like, if I don't try now, when am I going to try?
Yeah, it's.
Thank you.
Wow.
Look
Look at the fat slice.
Whoa.
Last year at, there's a hair. Oh, you didn't see that. I know.
And then
This is new, and this is our
It's tiramisu. It's like
in a cup.
Yeah, in a cup.
Me?
I'm like sweating.
No. You'll take a video of me, of me pretending to take a video on your phone.
No, it's a great way. That's an impressive comment.
It looks like a hamburger.
I love it.
There's actually probably something.
Okay. I will take you up on
They say this is fun. Thank you all for coming.
Thanks for hosting.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Yeah. I love it.
I'm a producer.
What? And it tastes so familiar.
It has
Sichuan peppercorns.
Oh, like a little
and-
confession booth
yeah.
where you just.
On a peanut butter.
Oh my god, they're not spicy.
It
It tastes like Fruit Loops. It tastes like Fruit Loops.
That's not what I thought.
No, it tastes like Fruit Loops.
The ones on top are quail eggs.
Imagine baking with quail eggs.
Oh my
Wait, but quail eggs are really weird.
They kind of freak me out a bit.
Yeah,
My grandma loves them.
really?
She loves a tiny egg.
Wow. She just needs like 1 tablespoon of egg. I should turn my grandparents on to quail eggs because they only eat like 1 egg.
1 egg?
We always joke about it. We're like, oh god, here they go with their 1 egg.
I feel like sometimes I eat 3 eggs.
It's like they'll do 1 scrambled egg.
I literally eat like 6.
That's like
Yeah,
a
these
bite.
days I've been eating like so many eggs. In this
Yeah.
economy.
No, in peak bird flu or whatever season, Jared's posting like 6 eggs.
I know. And then I get E. coli.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Not for
Not for my eggs.
Are we done with the bird flu?
Wait.
I feel like
That's the
yes.
reason that there's no eggs? I
Yes.
thought it was.
Yeah, it's been bird.
Oh, I thought that they just like weren't laying them.
We're-
Yeah. When I see the word shortage.
But I wonder if quail egg stocks went up.
Or like duck eggs.
Duck egg. Yeah, who's buying duck egg?
egg.
A fucking ostrich egg pops into my food. Like,
I'm actually
once a
surprised you
week.
didn't do that. You're like, oh, chicken eggs are more expensive. Let me go buy
We're
some
doing
duck
duck
eggs.
eggs.
It was like my favorite, like her top 5 food cities.
Custom, right? Yeah, exactly.
No, they're not. No, I don't know.
Try them.
I love how it looks from upside down. Whoa. No, I like it as a. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so sheer.
Yeah, your hair.
And I really like her sticky rice base.
Ooh.
I think the Persian way is they put it on ice and then they let it melt together. So I did that.
So good.
So smooth. It's so smooth. They're both plant-based, so
They're just like. Whoa.
Wow.
So good.
So good.
That's so.
It has like really good
smooth and
texture.
thick, yeah.
yeah. The fat you have to use like some solid fat, some liquid fat, and then there's like some math involved to figure out what the temperature it melts at.
How did you get into this?
I don't know. I've been making ice cream a while, and I think you just kind of like go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's interesting because they've been like humans have been fascinated by ice cream for like hundreds of years. Like George Washington was like trying to perfect his ice cream recipe.
I was like, Dom, you know that, right?
Wait, so when we say eat, are we saying it wrong?
I missed the letter, but the not.
That's an A.
Red.
It's a silent A.
Huh?
It's a silent A.
It's like a sound.
rope.
It doesn't make a sound?
That is the sound.
It is the sound. I thought you just said it's silent.
No.
You said that.
Isn't that first letter? Oh! Disregard.